know my German geography as well as I should. Where's Milos? Where is he? Where is he?
Sadly not here.
Sadly not here. Oxygen is going to be starting on defense, Team 1 on attack. Nicholas, would you like to tell us what the stats are for Clubhouse? Are we looking at either team getting an immediate advantage because of their starting side? First operator ban is in Oxygen, takes out Flores. Maverick and Hibana are also very common bans on this map. And joining Flores is going to be Thatcher. Interesting. Okay, so no Hard Breacher removed. So you've got 4 Hard Breachers on the board, and then you've got the common secondary Hard Breach gadget in the hands of Zero, Lion, Ying, Capitao, etc. Maybe even Buck, if you so choose.
Melusi. Okay.
All right.
Operator is slowly starting to see more bans coming out as time progresses. Clubhouse right now in North America is Defender's side at 58% in favor. But of course, this is not 100% how the story goes, because depending on what region that you're looking at, these statistics, they will change. So if we compare the 58% in North America on defending side compared to Brazil, actually 59 in Brazil, so very similar story here for both of these regions. Defender's side at Clubhouse.
Defender-sided Clubhouse, I feel like, is very common for us to hear, though.
Yeah, it is.
This was once a Defender fortress, if we want to call it that. So that will benefit Oxygen in this case, as they start on the more quote-unquote advantageous side based on the numbers that we see, though that's not always the case. Sometimes you can end up with a very attacker-favored Oregon or a very attacker-favored Villa. I remember one time in particular, there was a Team Liquid versus, I can't remember what team it was, but they played on Villa when Villa was like the second most defender-favored maps, and they weren't even bringing Hard Breachers on some of the rounds, and the attackers were winning.
Oh, you know who also did that?
Who?
Reciprocity, aka talking about Laxing, Vertical, and Foxy, also used to play Villa with no Hard Breach, because I remember back in my play days of G2, we're like looking at them saying, these guys are crazy, but it worked really well. So, yeah, multiple teams can do that. Nowadays, however, we see Hard Breach every single round. In this first opening round on Team 1 on the attacking side, we are seeing the Hibana and the Maverick, as well as the Thermite. So not just bringing 2 Hard Breaches right now, bringing all 3. Of course, the Maverick, always a good stable pickup. You get 2 frag grenades. That's going to help you give you more utility. Hibana has the flashbangs. We can allow the Thermite to either take the smokes or the flashes himself. You're always going to see a Finka, almost exclusively every single round, always there. So no surprise that Maya is picking up that operator as well, because it is such a lethal operator that every single team, they have one of those one-trick finger mains.
Well, that's a nade that just goes in front of Newers and almost takes him out, but hey, he's repeating his old ways. Just as he did against Direwolves, Newers leads things off. He got the very first 2 kills against the Taiwanese team, and now against the Brazilian team of Team 1, he gets at least 1 and then falls away, only sacrificing about 20 HP in the process.
It did. It's a good start. I mean, the thing about Newers is that once he's on fire, he really takes a while to cool down. So one could argue that them having played a game recently, about an hour ago, is going to mean that Newers can just keep on going from where he's left off, and that's exactly what he did in his opening round. Also, OXG, with that opening kill to Finka, they've all now fallen back, playing much more close together, as they're pretty much all in the basement bomb site area, just waiting for Team 1 to drone everything out and make their way through the map. Now, couple of obstacles. There are hatches, the blue hatch, the bar hatch, and the kitchen hatch. You can't really do anything about the bar hatch and the blue hatch because there's no deny on that wall, but the kitchen hatch is where we gotta put our eyes upon. There is 1 impact in the pocket of Newers, so if OXG want to contest, they can. Fox is over the C4, so could get spicy if Bok wants to do some vertical play.
Dash rotating around over to Kitchen. Losing that Finka is going to be a major blow to them. Of course, the adrenal surges that will come in. Time and time again, we see a team get quite aggressive on entry. They sacrifice about 50% of their HP, etc. And guess what? The adrenal surge helps them out. Good dance now of utility here in Kitchen. The Buck Rise goes up. He tears through some of the floor into the hallway as well. Laxing sustaining some damage. It seems like Lagonis and Dash combined with that Hard Breach will have no problem opening up these hatches. Kitchen hatch from Dash opened up, and now Lagonis over by Blue as he's got stock hatch open as well. 3 Hard Breachers for Team 1 still available.
Yeah, no wall deny from OXG at all. So they could use this last exothermic charge on the church was they want to, but it's Newers finding his second kill of this round so far onto Dash. And Nade, drop onto the Nade. It's not going to work out, but they're going to just kill instead. Gets 2.
Lagoatness with 2 huge plays, but he's going to need to ace clutch his way out of this situation. It's going to be a hard ride for him in Moto, and, well, it's not exactly the landing that he wants. Fist bumps round, Team 1. A bit of a sloppy first round for both teams, but it's OXG who come out ahead.
I think it's always really hard when the early stage of the round goes the way it did. You open up the blue window, you toss in a grenade, and suddenly Elysian just swings you and gets like a first bullet headshot, and you're playing 4 versus 5, and you still got to drone out the entirety of the map. It's a bit of a tilter. You can easily clock players out of that round saying, you know what, we go next. Of course, Team 1, they didn't do that. They tried to play that round through, but they were, of course, backs against the wall. When Newers found that second kill, it was just desperation play. Cougar grenade, down the blue hatch, follow it, and then I don't think that was intended exactly how it played out, but an aggressive play trying to find an opening from the side of Team 1. Of course, it got shut down by OXG, and therefore they also took the round. That's going to take us from basement all the way up into CCTV, where we will see OXG trying to defend this bomb site too. The difference is, when Maya's on the board now, can play catwalk comfortably. Of course, Laxing playing the Kaid, that's going to mean to fortify these walls. That's where dots on the Maverick comes in play, because if a wall is electrified, the Thermite cannot get through it, but the Maverick can make that wall soft, and then you can soft destroy the wall. Both Cyclops have been using the garage wall, so that is where the Maverick will have to go, because the only thing that's stopping you on the CC wall itself will be a single mute gem.
Foxay with the spawn peek now against Team 1 through that garage door, but nobody to be found. It's a cheeky little play.
It's very common these days because I saw a Cyclops every round also trying that cheeky spawn peek. It's very safe for defenders where typically spawn peeking is risky, but that one in particular is just timing. Wait until that 51, 50, maybe 49-second mark on the timer. You just hold left click, and if you're lucky, get a free kill.
Still in this position of Foxay up on rafters. No rotate onto the wall into CCTV, just a small opening for him to be able to look through. Again, you talked about that denial. They've got the Kaid Electroclaws, but neither in the pocket of Laxing. It seems like the wall should be easy to open up, even if there's a mute jammer there. Do bear in mind that the mute jammer is no longer covering the whole wall. It just covers up to a certain point. So you can put an exothermic charge or X-Kairos or Selma at the top, and it'll still go off. Vertical, missing out on an opportunity to take the Maverick of Dots down. That was a play behind the weight room bench. Nitro Cell in hand. Nice nade tossed up. It goes off, but it doesn't actually look like it makes it through the window. Dashes the drone on Newers. He gets spotted. Rise with the drone down below. Back into the safety of cash, Newers goes. OXG has not conceded any ground yet. They're still, or ceded ground yet. They are still holding garage very aggressively, while Dots does some intricate artwork on the wall.
Yeah, and the thing is, with those 2 grenades being used from Dots on the Maverick, that means only 2 grenades are left standing on the finger. That's your only real opportunity to clear out this catwalk player, but Laxing down below in the first level garage gets a kill instead. He can now fall back and play in the basement.
Oh, very first pick on the Rise. No buck available. The buck persevered. Not as crucial on this bomb site as when attacking down below, but still an operator that you want to have access to. Dash hunting phantoms inside a garage. There's one up on Catwalk, and he's taking some damage, just narrowly missing out on the Wamai. Dot's taking some more damage. Foxay not moving a muscle. Look at this. Look at this patience. But Laxing actually misses out on an opportunity. He gets it anyway. Fox falls to Lagonis. So they've managed to shake one of the players off. But Laxing down inside of Oil Pit with 2 big kills. That leaves Lagonis and Maya to break in. Adrenal Surge goes out. Still 2 remaining. So utility to spare. Lagonis finished off by Newers. His attention on Laxing down below puts Maya into a 1v4. A Dance with Death takes out Laxing on the re-entry from blue, but Maya loses 50% of the HP on Finka. Out goes an Adrenal Surge, 25 seconds left. Up onto the balcony and now inching ever closer into the bomb site by CCTV. No diffuser in hands, by the way, so this is simply a mission to do or die, and die is what exactly will happen, as there's no doing to be done when Dream finishes you off with a shotgun. OXG up 2-0.
Similar story again. This time it wasn't Newers, it was Laxing who found multiple kills, and Laxing getting 3 kills in a quote-unquote rat position, as we call it. I mean, it happens every single time because this player, or this man, is the #1 player when it comes to playing in weird, unorthodox corners, hiding positions, etc. So falling down to that garage pit, managed to find 2 kills in a row, not something that we see every single day. It was a nice supportive play. Foxy hiding on the rafters, just baiting them up the staircase. Then, of course, Laxi missed his initial shot, therefore Foxy died from the Thermite entering garage from Lagonis, but they did trade 2-for-1 ultimately as Laxi became the superior player in those 1v1s. Basement, CC, and now going to Gym, so no bar defense has been shown just yet. I will say with the current operator lineups available for the defenders, with Castle being open, bar is actually a very playable bomb site, surprisingly enough. And I'm sure we'll see it from either Team 1 or OXG because both of these teams are comfortable playing the bomb site if they have to.
Tertiary bomb site comes out. No bar stage yet. We did see a number of bar stage defenses yesterday, Nick, and I would not be too surprised, frankly, if we see it between these two squads right now. This is a nice angle. This is the second round in a row that OXG will go for an early pick. A rappel onto the top of Strip could be the undoing of one of these Team 1 players. Silhouette of the Thermite, and there he goes. He's actually going to go up top, but will Laxing see him? A good pair of eyes is all you really need. Instead, he's going to reinforce. And Dash is very quick to the beat, but can't do it in time. Reinforcement goes up. Nothing ventured, nothing gained from OXG, but that could have been debilitating to take out the Thermite of Lagonis from Team 1 so early on.
It's always risky reinforcing those walls mid-round. Animation is quite slow, but once it gets past the halfway point above your head, you're pretty much A-OK most of the time. Team ONE is a very methodical team, by the way, if you guys are wondering or haven't seen them play before. This is, of course, a different roster than one that won the major last time around, or not last time around, but that won the major last year. Lagonis, the only member from that roster, also the captain, RGL support player, but he's actually had a bit of a change in his playstyle and performance. Lagonis has started playing much more aggressive on the supportive role than he did in the past, and Team ONE as a team domestically has actually found a fair bit of success with that, despite the 4 new players.
It is actually quite remarkable how much upheaval happened in that Team 1 roster,
yes.
right? They took the major squad that won in Mexico. They didn't have the best performance in Sweden, and then they had an even worse performance by their own standards at SI, and it was a bit of a downward slope for the team. Then the whole team blows apart. You have Ali Mao obviously being the biggest figure, and he goes over to G2, who are having quite a bit of success here, and Lagonis is left on his own. The whole team rebuilds around Lagonis, and they make it to a major right away by being one of the top teams in Brazil. It's actually very impressive, and it just goes to show you the depth of that region and how the players can come together and really surprise us. And it's Team 1 on this new roster who's here, not FaZe, not Nip, not some of these other teams that we've talked about before. First kill technically goes to Dash, but it's a trade-off as Foxy gets Maya, and another follows from Laxing. Nitro Cell tossed out the window, nobody home to collect. 45 seconds remaining with Team 1 at a disadvantage of 1 number.
Bit of a bloodfist there, trading kills back and forth, and now Team 1 once again on the back foot. They're not really getting exactly what they want, and when they finally get there, well, they're always a man down, if not 2. Similar fashion here as it's 4v3, and they gotta make the first move now. OXG have to get caught with the pants down if Team 1 wants an easy opening, but they're quite ready for most of these angles as Newers is now has put his eyes towards his hatch.
Flash is coming in to try and blind Newers as Lagonis is now within striking distance. He's been isolated in this position. It's a 3v3. His dream is gone for OXG. A drop from Rise cannot hit the shots. It's a backup from Foxy to take it. Laxing is down. Lagonis with 1. Now it's a 2v2, but time is not in their favor. 5 seconds to go. Newers through the wall. He drops it. All you need to do is play keep away as Dash is nowhere near the vicinity to grab the diffuser. Team 1, well, they're on the wrong side of that first rotation, as it's a flawless cycle of bomb sites for OXG.
It is. It is a defender-sided, quote-unquote defender-sided clubhouse, of course. And we are being asked right there in in-game chat for a tactical pause or a tactical timeout from Team 1. So I imagine that is exactly what is going to be going on. That means that we get to calm down, think about things. We see the coach right now in the background going, guys, this is it. This is what's going on. I got a book. It has words in it, and this is what we're going to do. And hopefully that's going to inspire both some motivation and, of course, maybe settle the nerves, because starting 0-3 can easily create a situation in which you can start arguing or fighting amongst each other, which happens for every single team across the world, especially at this high level of play.
Yeah, undoubtedly, there's some frustrations from the players as well. And there's other things that have gone on behind the scenes. Team 1 talked about how they've suffered an unfortunate bout of food poisoning in Mexico,
That's
which...
true.
I know a thing or two about that, as well as I also happen to be on the wrong side of a particular meal in Mexico when we worked the Mexican major there, and I, for the first time in my life, God, food poisoning. I know how terrible that can make you feel, and I don't imagine that it's particularly enjoyable playing when you have that. So
Certainly.
there's other things obviously outside of the server too, but if this is a team that comes together and you've got 4 players that are now being assembled alongside Lagonis, and immediately you qualify for a major event, there's going to be some strong mental on the side of Team 1. Lagonis in particular is a very well-respected veteran of the LATAM scene. He's been around the block for ages, has his own charm in the game, known as a content creator, but more so than that, he's also a major champion. And if there's anybody who's going to be able to settle that team down and talk to them with that leadership and experience, it's going to be him.
Agreed. I mean, they did, as you said, they finished top. They finished 3rd place in LATAM, which, again, with this massive roster change, is something that we would have never imagined. And LATAM as a region has produced arguably the most amount of talent and like well-performing teams the last year and a half. That has been like the region that we've been watching and supporting, cheering for, etc., as they've been crashing the last year, whether it's Invitationals, Mexico Major, etc. But they're doing a phenomenal job as a region in this last year.
Well, both these teams do have gunskins in the game, by the way. OXG shown on your screen just now. At the start of the matchup, Team 1 has one as well. You're welcome to support. Elevates in the game too. Many of the teams competing in this event, and teams who did not manage to qualify for the event, as there is a lot of old guard that just simply did not make it. You can purchase it in the in-game store. Either way, Team 1 have not had the start that they wanted, but we did preface this match by giving OXG the tip of the hat. OXG start on the better side for Clubhouse statistically. This is a map that favors the defense. The question for OXG is, how high can you run up the score? And the question for Team 1 is, how close can you keep it before you swap sides? Because if OXG blows you out 5-1, the likelihood that Team 1 are then capable of doing the same thing in return on the second half of this match is quite low. A 4-2 scoreline is usually what we see out of these defender-sided matchups. That would give a serious edge to OXG. And OXG is already so tantalizingly close to winning the first half, being that they're up 3-0 there.
That they are, and I mean, the one thing right now is that because OXG has been shutting down Team 1 on the entries, they've really slowed down their gameplay. They double-check in every corner, taking a full minute to clear the first room they've approached. This is a basement defense, and they've just entered CCTV, and they have 1 player on that main stairs window. That leaves Newers doing what Laxon normally does, hiding in the corner, waiting for an unfortunate opponent to just walk on in. Look at this. They think someone's up here. Yep. They are 100% certain there's at least 1 or 2 players. Yellow pings coming out.
Well, there was somebody up here, to be fair.
Yeah, a minute ago. They're gone, scattered across the map, and this is going to cost them because half the round is about to be over, and they still have Newers hiding. If they're going to get lazy or sloppy or not drawn out that corner, that's going to lose you their opening kill as well.
Chasing ghosts upstairs. Team 1 will now need to go back and re-drone, as it does look like they've cleared out the entirety of the top and middle floors, but Foxe is inside a strip. I don't know if Dots' drone spots him. Yes, it does. There it goes. Foxe being in strip means that he's kind of trapped now. They know his position. They know that he's in there. He's going to have to fight his way out because there is no hatch for him to drop. There really is no other way for him to get back to the site. Dash is going to be the one to track him down, and Foxe is going to go down swinging. But all while this is happening, by the way, Fox is wasting time.
Yep.
So much precious time. There's less than a minute left. And Team 1 have the diffuser. They're the ones who need to get it down to the bomb site.
The goal here isn't to get a kill necessarily, but stay alive wherever possible. We almost might find one, but no, because the collapse is so good from Team 1. 3 players together, finds the kill, but as you mentioned, Parker, it bought him another 40-45 seconds for OXG.
It did a bunch of damage to the Buck as well. If there's a Nitro cell towards Kitchen where Buck will be, very easy to get shut down. But Dots, quick on Laxing. OXG now at a disadvantage, and this is looking mighty good for Team 1. Adrenal Surge goes out. The translation to the bomb site, it's happening now. Dots with a nade deep down to take out the deployable shield. Doesn't look like it connects, as there's another farther back. Swinging his Newers, he's got 1, can't collect onto the second. Dots grabs the diffuser and in default spot goes for the plant, but he has to be wary of it. Vertical in the corner takes out 2. All of a sudden it's a 1v1, and it's Vertical against Rise with just a second left. Vertical just needs to stay alive, and he does that. Team 1 cannot catch a break. They had the upper hand for almost the entire round, and then literally in the final seconds lost it. OXG are gonna win this first half 4-0, but boy, oh boy, What a heartbreaking round after a timeout from Team 1.
Look at how Vert played that as well. He just waited in the corner for something to happen. When the chaos occurred, they got off the plant. That's when he swung, took the opportunity, found the planter, got the kill, recognized that was the diffuser carrier, hit behind the half bar, leaning left and right, trying to avoid the headshot from Rise, who was very limited in ammunition. He could just wallbang that with his entire 31 bullets because he had spent majority of those, bringing it down to the 1v1. That means we've been in not a full bomb site rotation in the sense of being all 4 bomb sites, but we're now back where we started. Church, actually that was last round. We're going Church, CC, Gym, Church, now back to CC, and we have not seen a bar just yet. And if OXG can go, you know, as far as possible, for any team for that matter, and hide the bomb sites and hide the strats you don't show very often, that's in favor for you. So as long as the team is comfortable in the server, thinking they can close it out and get the rounds they want, they don't gotta show anything else because it is a long, you know, playing the long game for the major. Being up 4-0, this is like as good as it gets if you're OXG.
Yeah, this is a tremendous scoreline for Oxygen at this point. You're sitting very pretty moving forward. And again, OXG, they like to take these fights. This is going to be the 3rd time that they're spawn peeking. They don't give a heck at all. Newers doesn't realize it. There's nobody over there, by the way. The only player who spawned by Warehouse is Lagonis, and now he's up on the roof, and it's very quick to bite for Team 1 on the CCTV wall. Immediately, you've got the Maverick in position, wasting no time. Maybe if you think that it's easier for you to get into the bomb site quickly and overwhelm OXG, then going for broke might be the play here. Dots eats 2 impact grenades as he's trying to open up the wall. I don't know if he got the actual sheet metal off of it. If the reinforcement is still up, then it's going to be I think he did get it? He did. Okay, good. So, excellently done by Dots and by Lagonis, as Lagonis opens up the single panel into construction.
Same exact attack style as last time where, well, the one difference here is that they get the CC wall first, that's a similar situation, but now they're going for master bedroom. Last time was garage, didn't work out, Dream on the fire and is stuck inside of this room. Sure, Vert gets 1 kill, but they need more.
An adrenal surge to go in. Look at all of the HPs of OXG, and yeah, while Dash is down, OXG are just a stiff breeze away from death on 3 of these players. Nitro Cell goes down for vertical, can't connect it in time. Maya's there to keep his teammate alive. Full control over by Master now for Team 1. A potential late flank for OXG could come in, but late is the key word. There's half the round to go. Newers lies down below inside a bar. He can head back up main stairs whenever he wants. There's a drone as well. He shoots it away. They know that it's not there. If this is a team that is keeping their eyes on where the drone placement is, they know that somebody is down well off the bomb site.
The thing is, they only have 1 more exothermic charge, not a Hibana this time around, or an Ace. So if Lagonis goes to connect the wall in construction, and well, if Newers stays down below, that's going to be not just the wall denied, or the wall breach being denied, but also the player himself. Lagonis also has diffuser. So when they try and go for this breach, that is when Newers can be the most lethal as possible.
Dots taking more damage, just being chipped away at. And that's why those adrenal surges can come in so handy, because that's 2 impacts that Dots ate, and now a toxic canister as well. 35 seconds left, not a ton of time. The wall still somewhat closed, and Newers is going to tempt fate here and connect. Nicely seen onto Rise. His sight now over towards construction. Wary of a push up red. Newers dropped. That's Dots to do that. Maya charging up the stairs. He'll secure. 3v3 flashed out, though. And now it's Lagonis inside of construction, but his flash eaten by a magnet. OXG have vacated the bomb site. Down they go, leaving Laxing to clutch in a 1v3. There's a down on Lagonis. All Laxing needs to do is get the diffuser planter. He sprints in, he takes out 1, follows up, but no! Oh, his luck runs dry onto Maya as Team 1 finally win their first round. But boy, oh boy, it's close.
That's on the last second, by the way. The timer was so low, almost anything could have happened. Laxing vaulted the table, trying to get the angle. The Maverick came off the plant and got injured, but Maya on the finger secures the round for Team 1, making it a 4-1 scoreline rather than 5-0. Savior is the finger, even though he was team flashed earlier in the round. You see right here. 0.94, 0.8 something seconds. We're talking less than a second left on the clock. Any bullet missing there, different story.
That was trippy, the way the 2 shotguns were going at the same time.
Yeah,
boom, 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 boom. Good showing from Team 1, but the only round that you've been able to win was in a 1v1. Mind you, the round before that also came down to a 1v1, where only an extra second likely results in Vert not being able to just hide behind the bar down in church.
Okay. Two rounds in a similar way.
2 rounds in effectively a coin flip. If Laxing had a hit after getting those 2 kills, by the way, the diffuser would have been planted, clock would have run out again, OXG would be up 5-0. Which would be, at that point, a very daunting scoreline. Instead, OXG find themselves 4-1. And another spawn peak. They love these. All but 1 round so far, by my count, maybe 2 rounds, maybe I missed it. OXG have gone for the early pick. They have found nothing for it. They have not been shut down. They have not been punished, but they've not been successful either.
Well, you're right. I mean, Team 1, ultimately, this 1 round is great, but you really want 2 rounds on this half because you don't want to be able to be back against the wall the moment you get in defense. You want to have enough, room for error so you can make mistakes on both sides. Only fair. It is looking better this time around. A nice quick start. Already got garage control. Server breach wall is opened up. 2 minutes 15 seconds to go. The fastest pace we've seen, I would argue, so far from Team 1. No one has died. No team fights have, or no gunfights have occurred. That means that for once, Team 1 is actually controlling the pace.
And Maya sees 2 bodies inside of construction, and Cash can't catch them as they get out in time. The Swiss cheese wall in front means that it's a vault over the window, and that could have been a trap that OXG laid for them, but they're clever enough to look below. Nothing to catch them too off guard. OXG continuing to move backwards, holding ground, and then, well, not backwards enough for Foxe. As Dots drops an anvil on his head, there's a grenade that goes in, and Team 1 get the first pick.
That made Foxe was about to peek that window and said, nope, I'm not going to do that anyway. Oh, never mind. I'm dead.
A little bit too late.
A little bit too late. It's a great opening.
It's been a slow start for Team 1, but the last 2 rounds, and now this as well, showing that Team 1 are such a formidable and coordinated team. Laxing the only kill for OXG so far as Dash gets 1 for Team 1 to continue to hold the numbers in favor of this Brazilian squad. Newers peaks, and Dash picks up their 2nd kill in a row. He'll continue to work forward. Gunned down is Maya by Laxing, 3v2. Team 1 still in a very strong spot. Laxing has his back to the gym wall, watching the window. Tracer's whizzing over his head. He's going to rely on Dream's toxic canisters for good coverage. Out comes the shotgun as there's 1 player above on the hatch. If Dream gets a single kill, he'll almost certainly be traded off right away. A toxic canister will await the drop, and there you go. Damage being done to Rise. Just walks through the plume of smoke. And the SMG of Dream cannot connect. Laxing will need to clutch. He has both kills so far, a 1v3. Lagonis was in the same position back in round number 1. It did not work out for Team 1. Will it for OXG? Laxing's position given away. He's almost been so clutch. He's done everything but a single point of damage to Lagonis, but he doesn't get the down. I think he thought he had it. Rise is there to give his team 2 rounds in a row, and boy, oh boy, round number 4, now looking like that coin flip that helped Oxygen might not have been so well earned, as Team 1 pick up 2 huge rounds in a row and could very easily have emerged from this first half 3-3.
Massive rounds. I mean, we even said like 3 rounds ago, if it goes 4-2, expected outcome. And then Team 1 can do exactly just that. I will say that in that finals round before the side swap on round 6, Laxing is hiding in a corner trying to bait a position while Dream is actively peeking aggressively in towards office. It kind of puzzles me because if one player is playing passive, one is playing aggressively, you're not playing together. That's what Team 1 did so much better than OXG throughout that entire round. On the same page, on the same pace, the entirety. The early opening, 3 guys at Garage Server CC. They take that area, they clear them out. Then 3 people play around construction. They get 2 free kills. They trade 1 for 2. Worth it again. And then finally now 2 versus 3. It's 2 people in office swinging 1 person together and the 3rd person alone holding an angle. So Team 1 played a lot better together in that individual round, and they will go now downstairs in the basement. Similar story of OXG. They're going to be extending up above, roaming around. The vigil here, key member, the mute key member, because jammers will slow down the attackers, and the huge thing to note here is that OXG is not playing the Thermite. The reason why it's important to note is because the exothermite charge can be put at the top of the wall when you rappel. It will open up the entire CC or gym wall, and it'll go through the mute jammer because the jammer will not reach within range of the wall denier, or the wall breach rather. The Ace can't do that. That means that either a different approach will have to be made, such as Dirt Tunnel Kitchen, or Foxy has to do a bunch of traveling on the map, trying to find all the mute jammers with his torch, so that then you can open up the walls with Dream. Either way, OXG will spend more time or have a more difficult time achieving the same thing that Team 1 did so successfully every time they were on the attacking side. They are in the kitchen. They have breached open the hatch, so a different approach is what they're going to be doing, but this means that the roamers from Team 1 are now allowed space, and look at this verticality. The deal from Dots, the shotgun above as well from Mute, that means they can get a lot of vertical damage in. I mean, a oNe as well can just punch the floor and get all these lines of sight.
Tail of the tapes for the first half, by the way. I like to do this, just in case you haven't been paying attention, you tuned in. OXG wins the first 4 rounds. Team 1 wins the next 2. That's the first half. In terms of opening picks, OXG had 4 opening picks, 3 of which were uncontested. Oh, that's a nice nitro cell. Almost collects 2, by the way. Hold on a second. Let me pause for a moment now, as Team 1 are far more committed to this play than we potentially thought. That's Dream down. That's one of the 2 hard breachers, leaving just the Maverick to shoulder the rest of the weight. In this pause here, let me go back into it. OXG, 3 uncontested opening picks. Team 1, 2 uncontested opening picks. There was a trade for the 6th round. Timeout taken from Team 1 at the tail end of round number 3, and only 3 bomb sites seen. No bar and stage shown. That's what we're looking at right now. Team 1, things are going from good to great right now. Slow start, but hey, you're clobbering OXG. Picking up 3 kills in a row, leaving OXG in a 2v5. And Team 1 are not done yet. Dash looking for more, maybe a bit too brazen, as Newers eagerly awaits him and evens things out in terms of the picks in the last 30 seconds. But Team 1 still with a huge advantage.
This is the problem going for a direct attack on Kitchen Dirt, is that there is so much pressure above. Newers might try to get back the score, but oh, Dots, he gets the kill. A little bit shaky for a moment there.
Almost missing.
Almost. It's not close enough because he got it in the end, and that leaves his Newers in a 1v3 in the basement with no diffuser, no help, and almost no intel either.
Attackers have recovered their
Newers has 2 kills so far in this round, looking like they aren't all that influential. Any more that he gets will be nice for him and his stat line, but nope, not even 1 to his name past that. Team 1 fully in control of the last couple rounds, and they are just heating up. OXG calling a timeout immediately in the tail end of that round to try and settle things down, as they've lost the plot of this match, and Team 1 have clawed their way back. I want to go all the way back to round number 4 because OXG won it, but they won it solely because in the 1v1, the Buck was a second too slow. If Rise was even 1 step ahead, he and Vertical would have gone into an actual engagement instead of Vert just hiding. That is a coin toss of a final engagement. Very easily could have been a round going in favor of Team 1, and the scoreline could be swapped out. What do you think it is? You think they just let their foot off the gas pedal? They got a bit too cocky, a bit too cute on OXG's side.
I actually will say that in the later half, especially on the final defensive side for OXG in the gym defense, they were not respecting, I would say, Team 1. They were swinging, contesting, taking gunfights, and just getting shot down by members of Team 1, holding down angles, expecting and awaiting it. So it's easy to play a little bit overly aggressive once you get the lead. Arguably, OXG have done that. Now they got to show on their attacking side that they can be the ones, controlling the pace by going towards Team 1 and breaking apart the problems they're presenting. And in that first round we saw, it's a basement defense from Team 1. Well, they did a good job at putting up a bunch of problems. The roam game, the self-destruction, open up hatches up top floor, and OXG said, well, we're not going to mess with that. We're going to take the easy path and just go over here. But usually when something is very straightforward and looks easy, it rarely is, because Team 1, what they did was that they adapted around it. They rotated people on the main stairs, vertically, the gym hatch, Dash got 2 kills, etc. So as long as Team 1 can keep up the aggression and play together as they did the previous round, they're going to be in a great position to tear apart OXG, because they don't want to deal with all these problems. And Team 1, we said, Lagones, IGL, captain, phenomenal teammate, major champion in Mexico. He knows how to put up problems that causes a ton of resistance for his opponents.
I mean, there's a reason why they repeatedly call him Lagoteness.
Lagoteness, that is true.
I know that the Rainbow Six Pro League subreddit, which is currently on fire, they love to call him Lagoteness.
Every time.
I love that Rainbow Six Twitter, which is also currently on fire, likes to call him Lagoteness. I'm sure that in just about any other social media that I'm not even thinking about that likes to call him Lagoteness, which is probably also on fire at the moment.
The whole universe on fire.
The
right
whole
now.
universe is on fire. Well, the planet's on fire because of climate change, but I don't want to get too political over here.
Oh,
There's a Nitro cell. It looks like that was tossed out. It misses onto FOXA. He's not doing the most adept job at getting it open. There you go. The middle part of the reinforcement causing some issues.
I'll say Team 1, they did it better. I will say, like, one thing I've always admired about Latin teams is that when Maverick first came around, they were like the region to learn how to do a really quick and efficient job, especially with the hatches, because they used to be very tricky. There's a specific method to do. You didn't have like the 6 canisters, only 5, or you had 1 less than now at least. I'm not sure how many you have actually. And the hatches were very difficult to get. But Latin, FaZe especially, they had that nailed down to a T. And we saw when Team 1 was on the attacking side, well, no difference there. Foxy got the wall open though. This took a whole minute, but we are there. Doc's now doing a good job picking up those Cyclops, recognizing that the attack from OXG is going to be a master bedroom adaptation. So the claw's been picked up, tossed out from the radio side. That's going to electrify this wall. It's difficult for OXG to deal with that unless Foxy can use the Maverick Torch. But as I say that, Laxi makes it a bit easier by finding the opening kill onto Dots and the Kite.
Big pick, too, by the way, because those Electro Claws will persist, but they cannot be retossed. I'm assuming that Dots has thrown both of them out. I don't know if he went to
least
the
one.
grave. I know that one of them is out, Nick.
Yeah.
I can see the electricity on the wall. Okay,
I'm really happy for you you can see it, but it's gone. They've cleared it. What's getting opened up?
Attackers have located a bomb.
So you are correct now. This opening kill becomes a massive one because that second claw that might have been available doesn't get utilized.
Dream needs to watch out because that grenade could have done some damage with the position it was in. Gets caught by a magnet. Toxic canister thrown out as a response from the hands of Lagonis. Still playing inside a cache, but there's no magnet to save you this time. Lagonis goes down to the second main, tossed out by FOXA. Rise down below means that there's only 2 players on the bomb site to deal with the 5 players from OXG. But you don't necessarily need to be down there if you've got a Nitro cell in a common spot. That was tossed out by Rise. Team 1 need to scramble to do something, and Dash thinks he has the answer. He gets Newers, but he's traded out by Vertical, and now the player on top of Red being hunted down as well. Rise trades out some HP for FOXA. As Dream gets the plant down. It's not quite there yet, but Maya will creep in to try and stop it. They don't know. He's at the top of Red. Diffuser goes down. Dream manages to get out of a bad situation, leaving Rise on rafters in a 1v2 with Diffuser ticking away. 35 seconds left. It's an almost impossible situation. There's no rotate available, just a line of sight. So instead, Rise is permitted access to the bomb site as OXG scramble in the post plant to get into position, and scramble no more. Dream gets the final 2 picks with the diffuser on the ground, and OXG, after their timeout, pick up their 5th round.
That they do, and that entire round really was like a long time since we've seen OXG get that kind of success because the last 3 rounds, well, OXG they lost. Also, OXG has not been getting the opening kills in those previous 3 either. This time, it was relaxing. He got the opening kill. OXG also got the opening round. So the opening kill for both of these teams really is important. Not necessarily that they won it badly or they play around it, but that the opening kill finder, more often than not, also gets the round victory. And of course, that is what both teams desperately want in this case. It is 5-3 OXG in favor, and we are going to the gym bomb site instead. Not gonna try CC again, and it is so difficult to hold down the CC bomb site against the Maverick. There's not much you can do. They tried to see forward, OXG tried to impact it, and you might do a little bit of damage at most, but you're never gonna stop the Maverick entirely from opening up the wall with the torch. Kite still on the board. Mussy being a very, I'm gonna use the word interesting pick. I hate that word, and you know, it's one of those terrible ones.
Not the interesting.
Yeah, it's a terrible word.
No.
But I'm like, you know, you have Valkyrie available, no IQ, and you choose the Mussy. So it could have been one of those that they couldn't fit Mute in the lineup. They still want Drone Deny, and that's what they're gonna play around the CCTV. Might be the case, but I still think I am talking out of my cheeks, Parker. They have Valkyrie as well. I am no longer interested. I take it back. I got confused because it said Valkyrie 6-pick into the Mussy, and I didn't realize that that's also Valkyrie. So they changed it.
So
They gave Dash this Valkyrie instead.
So there is no 6-pick on defense,
No,
by
there's
the
not.
way.
There's not.
Sometimes the HUD will show that an operator has changed, and that
Yes.
is not, what's the word, accurate. So
Well,
don't...
technically, if you hover Valkyrie first and then go to Mussy, I think that's where it comes from. So Rise did hover the Valkyrie at first to give it to Dash so he went off it, and then he went to Mussy. I think that's where the complication comes from. But yeah, it doesn't actually work that way.
Newers on the Finca, that's a shock.
Big shocker.
Big,
Wow.
big shocker here. Down below, and Foxy will do his patented curve line into the wall on what is a essentially. Ooh, no, Dots. Oh, and Dots wins it. That is not great.
You know why he won it? Because he held his trigger discipline, because he recognized that the enemy had more bullets. His C4 is really good, but doesn't do any damage.
Not quite close enough. Dots gets away. Laxing on the hunt, but can't really find anything for it. Still on this window. And will now reposition up onto the roof. That's half of the round burned, and Team 1 in good spot. If Oxygen prevails in this round, then they move on to map point, which is good. It guarantees them at least 1 point. If OXG wins here against Team 1, they are, if I'm wrong, please tell me, but they will be the first team to qualify for the playoffs on Friday if OXG are successful in this matchup.
Okay. I won't stop you because I think you are correct, but I also won't tell you that you are in case I'm wrong as well. Dots also follows up a second kill for his side of Team 1, and a third one to follow. His stream is now injured.
Down to just Team 1 right now, absolutely slaughtering OXG on this tertiary bomb site. A flawless on the docket, unless Laxing can do something about it. Laxing himself had a couple near clutches where he racked up some impactless kills, and he's not going to get any this time. Team 1 say, not today. No, thank you. Another big round for Team 1. They're closing the gap. They're within striking distance and have been for quite a while, but the lead has eluded them. OXG still tantalizingly close to match point, but Team 1 pick up their 4th round.
Also, Team 1's player cams, like from the how they were in the beginning versus how they are now, there's so much more energy and fire, if not passion, in those, and like they're really celebrating their victories because they started slow. They're down all the way 0-4, and somehow now have made it all the way back 4-5, and they are in the basement bomb site. Arguably the one where OXG struggled the most. And sure, Jim was a flawless round, but strategically speaking, OXG could not contest the roam game at all from Team 1. They went for that direct attack on Dirt Tunnel and Kitchen, and it did not work whatsoever. And Team 1, of course, gonna do the exact same thing. The Mute, the Vigil, same as before, star operators of this strategy. And now we actually have to show us that they have learned from the past, otherwise we can only expect Team 1 to do the exact same thing and basically run away with this round 2.
5 seconds left.
Well, back downstairs they go. The first full site rotation for OXG was Church CCTV Gym. And guess what? Exact same for Team 1. Both of these teams favoring the Cycle Bar and Stage, which saw some play yesterday, absent so far in this particular fixture. Instead, it will be another Church defense that looked so mighty good for Team 1 that OXG actually called a timeout in the middle of the round. I don't think it's all that common. Usually it's towards the tail end of a round, but OXG were so certain of their imminent defeat that with about a minute 30 still on the clock, they said, we need to settle this down. Did it work? OXG won the next immediate round, but that was it. They lost on the tertiary bomb site of Jim. Jim will be locked until the very tail end of this matchup, but CCTV is open right away. See, will Church fall into that same category? It's a heavy roam upstairs right now for Team 1.
Yes.
OXG trying to hunt them down. They've got garage control, eating through some of that utility inside of CCTV.
Done a good job so far. Found one Valkyrie camera as well. Important. Laxing is in the IQ. Worth noting. That means that when they get to this information game, they can shut it down. Dash and Office, not alone, has backup, but they're going to be falling backwards slowly. The issue for OXG is that no one is like catching these players as they move around. Sure, Sledge in the window. Well, Newers finding one. That's a catch-off right there. Dash off the board. One of the top gunners, top performers, and Newers.
Wow.
Follows it up.
What a shot that was. So clean and pristine. My goodness.
I saw Newers before the game started. He was like huddling towards the bathroom. I was like, that's a man with swagger the way he was running. You should have seen it. It's beautiful.
This is a downstairs defense. I would like to remind you, as all of our attention is currently not on that part of the map, and there's still just a little bit over a minute to go, you've got some drone work to be done. Laxing watching the hatch as Dots over by Strip Club, by Bathroom, by Billiards. He's in that perfect angle where he's got 3 laneways that he can rotate towards. They know exactly that he's there. Laxing just needs to stay on that. A 3rd kill for Newers. Lagonis as smoke, roaming upstairs, sitting inside of Kitchen. What do you want to bet? That OXG have not droned out Kitchen and somebody is just going to head in that direction. Rise is the only player down below. Lagonis could completely derail this, and there he goes on the vertical. Lagonis gets 2. It's a rodeo in Charlotte, but Dream finishes him off. Rise down below for OXG's 3 final players, and it's a vigil to try and hold off the final 30-second push. They'll drone him in. If there's any operator that can elude your drones, evade your line of sight, it's this one. They know he's here. Rise will be good for 1 kill inside of blue. Some damage done to Dream. Spraying through the wall. He'll retreat over towards Moto. The back of the bomb site. He's away in. Diffuser going down by Newers. Does Rise know where it is? Could Team 1 salvage it? He takes out Fox, and it'll be Newers in a 1v1. 4K for Newers needs to be what's had, as Rise is reduced to basically rubble, sitting inside a church. Clutch your rosary, because you're going to need to pray, boys. An impact to distract as Newers still sits at almost full HP. The Vigil will need to play around these boxes. He's close enough. The Diffuser on the right, Newers on the left, but Rise can't win it. Newers with a massive round, 4K. It propels OXG to match point.
So close for Team 1, and Rise had a phenomenal couple of shots. Single-handedly almost bringing it back, but before that happened, we need to remember Lagotinus inside of Kitchen. They almost
Thank you
triple
for
kill.
calling him by the right name.
There it is.
Lagotinus.
It was such unfortunate timing. He flicked away the same frame that the 3rd player appeared in his line of sight, and unfortunately because of that, he couldn't get that 3rd pump kill. That would have been the highlight, or one of the highlights of this major so far had that happened, and Rise would have been in a 1v2 instead of a 1v3. Really nice try from Team 1. Individual skill really showing through that round, but it's not enough. But I will say, we get to see a bar because of that, and I'm so happy about that. That means all 4 bomb sites have been played, they're unlocked, and we're gonna see what the Latsum approach is to this bomb site. Castle is being played. I mentioned that way back in like round 3. I said bar is great because Castle's open. Thank you, Dash, for playing Castle. The Echo as well, very common operator. You want to have a movable drone because it's such a big bomb site. A Valkyrie camera is great, sure, but also what happens is often the time ticks down. The Yokai drones can then use their stuns on a planter, and you can secure an easy round if that's the case that happens. OXG's response to this immediately. OSA and Glass, 2 operators that are picked for very specific purposes, and what do you know? They both have smoke grenades because it plays into Glass's gadget of that thermal vision.
This is a very similar lineup to what OXG brought against Direwolves, if you remember. They've subbed out the Lion for Hard Breach because on Theme Park you don't need it as desperately as you do on Clubhouse. But the big thing here is that the Monty and the Osa have basically been used interchangeably. So if you recall, OXG against Direwolves brought in the Monty, brought in the Glass on the very final round of their attack. They're using that Osa as an effective surrogate for Monty, and I honestly would argue that in this current meta and what we know of the game, Osa is a better operator than Monty.
Yeah, one of the main things here is that Monty, you don't get to really have a real weapon at any time. Your ADS with your shield, you're exposed, it's a pistol. Also, you get a full-on AR, so you still get the shield, it's not as good, but you get a weapon that's better, so it kind of evens out. The smoke grenades, of course, plays into the Glass, and here we see Daisy comes through.
And I mean, it's the first bar stage defense. Look at that. Dream's halfway through the diffuser plant. He's holding it. There's a shield in front of him. Lagonis can't do anything. Nade from Foxay lands. 9 people still alive with the diffuser down. Newer's the first one from OXG in the ground. Foxay holding off on that diffuser planted by the main doorway. He's got a long line of sight over to Dots. The Castle of Dash tries to rotate over. He can't do anything. Maya on the flank. 2 kills to his name, but Dream is there to stop him. Laxing taking some damage. Foxay's been down, but Dots can't secure. Dots and Rise to try and keep their team in this. They fail. OXG goes on. Dots takes out Dream. They're on the diffuser. Laxing needs to shut this down. He's on the diffuser. Laxing, you gotta go! But Dots is the hero of that round. A massive 3K for him. And it's Team 1 to stay in it. Look at how amped up they are. What a round from Team 1 and what a post plant.
I want to see Latsum what they could do in a bar. It's a 4 versus 5 retake against Osa and Glass in the midst of the chaos, somehow finding kill after kill after kill, trading together for a 2v1 situation. Beautifully played.
I mean, the way that OXG took it was also beautifully played. Both
It was
teams
amazing.
handled that so well. It's so easy for a casual observer to see that round and think, boy, what a mess. And I will say, it was messy at
beautiful.
times, but it was beautiful. Both teams played that so well. The deployment of the Osa shield immediately in front of Dream. The castle barricade goes. Lagonis tries to break in as the Echo can't do it. Yokai's ineffective. Retake from over towards kitchen hallway. Through stock, can't do it. Gets gunned down. Foxay caught. The retake up the stairs and then pushing from bar towards stage. Picture perfect from Team One. That is a round.
That is a round.
That is a round that needs to be dissected at the top level because Team One matched OXG's cleverness and outdueled them and out-strategized them. Really well played. Bit of a blunder now as we start off this 12th round. It's our final round of regulation. If OXG goes into overtime, well, they can still pull out a victory here, but for Team One, they're going to need to pick up points to try and make their way out of the group. Look at Dots. Taking a bunch of damage. I don't know from what.
I know. Okay, so by the way, what we're looking at right now here, this is TSM's strat from Invite. Now, I don't know if TSM, they invented this strat or they just
This is when they
use it.
barricade strip, right?
Yeah, you reinforce strip, you barricade, you leave castle there. That was Geo from TSM doing it. It worked to great success for TSM against Empire because Empire had never seen it before. But what are the odds that OXG didn't watch Invite, that they played it, right? There's no chance, you know, and it was a North American team in the Grand Finals. So they should have a concept of what is happening right now, and I'm curious to see how Dots chooses to play it, as well as how OXG chooses to attack it, because we all know if you leave Dots in strip, there's always a chance of a flank. If you deal with him well, that can be difficult. Walls are reinforced and castle barricades are there. Instead, a lot of focus on blue for OXG. 3 players on the staircase, gone 6 takes out the barbed wire, no rush happening, but they're clearly favoring one half map right now, and that's where Dots isn't playing.
Dash is going back down the main stairs. He's got Dots not too far away. I'm glad that you pointed this out because I was going to say this is the Geo special when he was inside a strip. We had some criticisms of it, if you recall.
Yes.
The Selmas will go off, and you don't need to worry about the Electric Claw. 2 of them tossed out. Many players don't actually know that if you use Hard Breach close enough so that the electricity doesn't do anything, but the explosive radius still does, you can take out a hatch without actually having to put the exothermic charge, Selma or X-Kairos, onto the hatch itself. You saw it in action. Just a little FF, a little fun fact for you.
Works for every single primary hard breach gadget. It's very impressive and yeah, very underrated and unknown to some players. Highly efficient. You should try it out.
Oh my goodness. Newers and Foxay are knocking at the door here right now. Newers is a long line of sight over towards Dirt, gives himself away. Nice early pick onto Maya. Dream has gone to Dash. Dash, of course, was above. Don't know if they've made it back to the bomb site. Foxay is dropped. Adrenal Surge goes out. Foxay gets picked up, but Newers dies for it. At least you still keep the numbers somewhat even.
Oh,
Team One, hope and a prayer that they make it into OT. Lagonis engaging with Laxing, but Laxing's a little bit better. That shotgun just didn't seem to land at all. Vertical's in the middle of the bomb site, but the diffuser is so far away, and they need to be wary of somebody above. Through the wall, Vertical doesn't seem to know it, but he needs to be wary of the hatch too. Can he plant safely? That's the question. It sure looks like it. Laxing takes out Dots. Now all of a sudden OXG is the advantage. Foxay brought back from the dead is up top with Laxing, but Vertical needs someone to cover blue. Nitro Cell goes out, Foxay to die, Laxing sees one, and that's the ball game. The first team to make it to Friday. The first team to make it to the playoffs, and the first team to be on a stage with a crowd in 2 years is OXG. They defeat Team One 7-5.
And more important to me at least, OXG proved it wasn't just a honeymoon phase, regular domestic performance, it was also Newers, the new pickup, who shows he can play when it matters even more. A lot of people had their doubts, they are here, and Newers is here to prove that they have what it takes to play at the highest level.
Well, you always love, no matter which team or region you support, you always love to see a home crowd cheer for a hometown team. And yeah, the NA teams might play out of Vegas, quite a ways from Charlotte. But you know that when the crowd gets here on Friday, they're going to be very excited to lend their voices to whatever moments that OXG can have. We have our first team making it out of the groups. Team One and Direwolves are fighting for that second spot. Direwolves play 2 matches tomorrow against both OXG and Team One. Those will be barn burners for sure. We got a break ready for you, and then we'll come back and talk about that matchup, because OXG They're going to be celebrating tonight. Fans of them, you will be too. Sit tight. We'll be right back.